Okay, so today we're going to perform a manual lymphatic drainage or a manual lymphatic therapy. So now that I have done with the intake questions to my clients, and I have to inform also if there is any swelling and any discomfort. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So what the manual lymphatic drainage does is to bring out the fluid into the tissue and create in here more vacuum in effect. So just to be mindful that the pressure of doing this manual lymphatic drainage is only a 5 grams or a weight of a nickel and should be performed gentle, steady, and hands are relaxed. So the stroke of this treatment, it should be like 5 to 7 times, and it depends if the water or the fluid is more, so you can give it more, okay? And the rhythm of the lymph should be like counting as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So before we begin, so we have to go first with the lymphatic model. To be noted that healthy lymph nodes should be collapsed while compressions or while palpate. So I'm going to start with the pericular. So here, pericular is the anterior side of the ear. Then the retroauricular is the posterior aspect of the ear, behind the ear. Okay, and then submandibular is below the angle of the mandible. Here is the submandibular. Okay, submentalis is below the top of the chin. Submentalis. And next is the cervical, which is the anterior of the SCM. The next is the supraclavicular, which is the above the clavicle. Now next is the parasternal, or the top of the sternum. Then the axillary, which is the armpit. So I'm going to do bilateral. So if you spread a little bit out with your arm, please. Okay. And on the left of her cubital. And other as well as to the other side, the cubital on her left. And next with her lumbar, which is in her tummy, which is cannot be palpable because it's so deep, but this is the part of the thing, which is the lumbar. Now I'm doing also bilateral for iliacis. So down to the ASIS cannot be palpable, but this is the part of this part. This side. And on the other side as well. Now, since I'm asking also a permission to touch, so in her inguinal, and on the other side as well. And then in her popliteal. So below the knee. And on the other side as well. So far, there is no discomfort. So I'm done with the assessment. So now we're going to perform the treatment of the manual lymphatic drainage, which is first is the supraclavicular lymphatome. So to start with this, so we have to do first and clear with the terminus. So again, to perform with the terminus, we could count of 1, 2 like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And to do the terminus, like you have to engage the skin and able to stretch it without pushing the skin. So we have to clear out the neck region. So next is the supraclavicular chain. So the supraclavicular chain is above her clavicle. So I'm doing those bilateral. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3. Next is the jugular chain, which is the below the ear, and it should be like anterior of her SCM. So it's supposed in here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So far so good. 2, 3. Now next is the spinal accessory chain, which is the posterior or the cervical of the SCM muscles. So it was like this, posterior in here. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now after that is we have to dive into a water wheel, which is on her C1 and C2 below the mastoid process in here. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So right after that, everything's good, and then it's time for you to rinse. So when you rinse, if it is needed, it's we have to go back. So from water wheel to the spinal accessories, the jugular chain, the supraclavicular, and then down to the terminus. So it's like this one. So if it's needed, if you feel something that there's still, and then you have to do to rinse out. So right after the supraclavicular lymphatome, so we're going to dive on the GON phase, and we have to also start again on her clear first terminus. Okay, again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and be mindful again that the pressure should be like 5 grams or a weight of a nickel. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So since already that we cleared out the neck region with the supraclavicular, the jugular, and the spinal accessory chain, so we're going to dive on the water wheel. So water wheel again, it's in her C1 and C2. And we're going to do also her nose. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. On her eyes, both bilateral on the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, also on her eyebrows. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And as well on her maxilla. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to dive on her submandibular nodes in here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And next would be the submental nodes, which is the top of her chin. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And then on her mandibular nodes here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then just rinse, go back onto the water wheel on our C1 to C2, just below the mastoid process. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Everything's fine so far, and we're going to do the parotid nodes here. 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we have to rinse back to go into the water wheel. Then go to the parotid if it's needed. Then rinse back to the mandibular. Then submental. And then the submandibular nodes. And then clear into the terminus. So just be mindful if it's needed, and then do the rinse. And always rinse back to the terminus. Okay, so we're done with the joint phase. And now we're going to dive in the axillary lymphatum. So in axillary lymphatum, it is the upper thoracic and upper limbs of quadrant. So first, again, we have to clear the terminus. Like this. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's good. And now we're going to the axillary nodes. If you can spread, please. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 2. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do next the external mammary nodes. So I'm going first in this left side. Just like this. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. So I'm going to clearing out all the way in here. Then down in here. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to perform on the other side. So again, make sure that you have to clear this out. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 3. And here, 1, 3. 1, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And flushing out all of them to the axilla part. So now that we're done with the external mammary nodes, we have to go with the brachial nodes. So do like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 1, 2, 3. Do the inner, and then the outer. 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Next with the cubital nodes. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Now I'm done with the cubital and go to the other side. So make sure, be again mindful that doing this in proximal to distal. So going to the proximal for her cubital on her left side. 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, and then the outer. Inner, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so done with the brachial nodes on her left. So go with the cubital. 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And also just to be mindful again, it's working proximal to distal, falling lymph to the axillary nodes from right to left. Okay, so to rinse this one out is like going back if it's needed, again if it's needed. So from cubital to our brachial left, on the other side as well, from cubital to brachial, and then from external mammary nodes on this side, and then on the other side as well, and then under axillary nodes. And always rinse, be mindful on the watershed, and also always clear out and rinse out on her terminus, just like this. 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And now done with the axillary lymphatomes for the upper limbs. So now we're going to dive on the deep abdomen. So just to be note that always do deep abdomen before doing the superficial abdomen of the lower limbs. So again, first is we have to clear out on her terminus. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then just dive on her cisterna chyli. So on this one. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Do it this 5 times. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay, and done. And now we're going to dive on the external iliac nodes. So here is the external iliac nodes. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3, and perform also on the other side. 1, 2, 3. And next is with the inguinal. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3 from middle. 2, 3. Again, doing proximal to distal. 2, 3. So inner. 2, 3. 2, 3. 3. 2, 3, and doing this proximal to distal from inner and then outer as well. 2, 3, 2, 3, and then go on her knee. 3. And then perform on the other side as well for her inguinal. 2, 3. Proximal to distal, going also perform also on the middle and then inner and outer. 2, 3, 2, 3. Also in the outer. 2, 3. 2, 3, and always also on her knee. On top of her knee. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. And then to range this one back is just from inguinal, again if it's needed, inguinal to the external, both as well, on this side as well, inguinal, external iliac nodes, and also on her cisterna chyli, and back to rinse on her terminus. And now the last one is the inguinal lymphatum, which is the superficial lower abdomen, and the lower abdomen with the limbs. So first, again, we have to clear the terminus. 2, 3. Again, the count is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, dive on the cisterna chyli. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. Do it this 5 times to 7 times, and do it more if there's lots of water fluid in there. But so far so good. 1, 3, and then dive to the inguinal. Again, inguinal nodes. 1, 2, 3, and then on the other side as well. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do it also in the middle, inner and outer, just like do while I go. And then now perform with the popliteal. So doing popliteal is just pulling up this. 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then also on the lower leg. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, using the finger pads. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, until on the medial malleolus. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then on top of her foot. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then just spread out on our barefoot. 2, perform also on the other side. 3. Just always be mindful to do this perform with the proximal to distal. And as well be mindful of the watersheds. Then our knee, below the knee. Then our popliteal, like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and our lower leg. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Also on the medial malleolist. 2, 3, on top of her feet. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, and spreading out on her barefoot. Or the fascia. What do you call this? The fascia of her foot. Plantar fascia. And then rinse back if it's needed. So far so good. So I'm done with the inguinal to just to rinse. It's from popliteal, inguinal, and then go back into the sternochyli. This is sternochyli. And back into the terminus. So now everything is done. So that's good for the treatment of the what we call the lymphatic manual drainage or the lymphatic manual therapy.